Look, if you feel like your attention is just constantly being pulled in a million different directions lately, you're absolutely not alone. I mean, we've all had that creeping sensation, right? Just staring at our phones, suddenly wondering where on earth the last hour went. Finding a true sense of calm in today's hyper-connected world can feel, well, almost impossible. But today, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the exact mechanics of reclaiming your mind. We'll be pulling from both modern productivity research and some truly timeless ancient philosophies to help transform your day-to-day life from a state of chaotic distraction into one of deep, intentional peace.
To kick things off, get a load of this wild statistic. 90% of the best-performing YouTube videos use a custom thumbnail to grab your attention. 90%! That is a massive number. You've got entire industries and thousands of incredibly smart people engineering images, tweaking colors, and writing titles specifically designed to hijack your focus the very second you look at his screen. Make no mistake, attention is the literal currency of the modern age, and everyone is constantly bidding for yours.
And that brings us to a pretty harsh truth that I think we all really need to sit with. If creators are out there designing thumbnails to aggressively grab our focus, we have to consciously design our lives to protect it. The modern world is literally optimized to steal your focus, so we have to fight back against this distraction economy. We need a rock-solid plan for our attention because honestly, if we don't have one, someone else is gladly going to use it for their own profit.
So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with 1, the battle for attention. Then 2, overcoming the action inertia. Next up, 3, designing your deep focus. Moving into 4, the power of pausing. And we'll wrap up with 5, finding peace and purpose.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the battle for attention, deep versus shallow work.
The core idea here comes from author Cal Newport. He defines this concept of deep work as intense concentration on truly meaningful tasks. This is the stuff that pushes your cognitive abilities to their absolute limit. Think about J.K. Rowling, right? She famously isolated herself in a hotel just to write the final Harry Potter book, completely cutting out the noise. Now compare that to the destructive illusion of shallow work. These are those easy, low-value tasks. You know the ones, endlessly checking notifications, replying to those just circling back emails, and basically engaging in fake busyness. It makes us feel super productive while silently destroying our actual potential. It's so incredibly easy to fall into this trap because it feels like you're getting things done, but really, you're just treading water.
Which brings us to Section 2, overcoming the action inertia, breaking the freeze.
So how do we actually start doing that meaningful deep work when we feel utterly paralyzed by it? Well, researcher Peter Hollins offers this fascinating, honestly kind of counterintuitive solution. Just lower your standards to start. Seriously, lower the bar. We all have this terrible tendency to demand absolute perfection on our very first try, which of course completely freezes us up. Hollins says we shouldn't sit around waiting for some mystical wave of motivation to strike. Instead, taking a tiny, imperfect action is what actually creates the motivation to keep going. If you want to work out, don't plan a grueling 1-hour session. Just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to stretch for 5 minutes on the living room floor. That tiny, low-stakes action breaks the inertia. It essentially tricks your brain into starting, and suddenly you're doing 10 minutes, then 20. Action precedes motivation every single time.
And to protect that newfound momentum, you need a tool that I absolutely love, a don't-do list. We are all so obsessed with these overflowing to-do lists, but consciously writing down what you will deliberately avoid, that's a real superpower. By actively cutting out the shallow distractions, like checking your phone during short breaks, sitting through meetings with no clear agenda, or that endless social media doom scrolling, we reclaim massive blocks of our day. Then we can replace those everyday time wasters with calculated, growth-oriented tasks that actually move the needle for us.
Moving on to Section 3, designing your deep focus. Systemize your work.
Think of your tasks kind of like pots on a stove. This is known as the burner list concept. Look, we simply cannot do everything at once, no matter how much we try to convince ourselves we can. If you treat every single task in your life like a 5-alarm fire, you are going to burn out fast. So we have to separate our immediate priorities, our front burner tasks that drive our biggest goals, from the things we can just let simmer on the back burner. The back burner holds important stuff, sure, but it doesn't need your immediate daily focus. Giving those tasks a designated spot on the back burner gives your brain permission to just let them go for now. It frees up all that precious mental RAM for your front burner work.
Next, we've got to tackle decision fatigue. You know, this is the exact reason Steve Jobs famously wore the same black turtleneck every single day. We can use what's called the superstructured decision model to fight this. Step 1. Automate the small stuff. Pick your workout days and your meals in advance so you don't even have to waste a single thought on them. Step 2. Set predefined filters for big decisions. Like, before saying yes to a new project, ask yourself a filter question. Does this align with my main goal for the year? And step 3. Learn from past outcomes to refine those filters over time. By automating those daily routine choices, we save our brain power for the deep work.
Now, to make this all work, we have to respect our body's natural wiring, specifically our ultradian rhythms. Recognizing that our bodies naturally operate in 90 to 120-minute energy cycles changes everything. You start your deep focus at minute 0, and you usually hit your absolute peak cognitive performance right around the 90-minute mark. But by 120 minutes, your energy naturally drops. We've all been there, right? Staring blankly at a laptop screen, reading the exact same sentence 4 times without actually absorbing it. That means scheduled breaks aren't a waste of time. They are biologically essential to prevent burnout. You literally can't just power through forever.
Ultimately, it comes down to flipping the script on how we manage our calendars. Imagine if you could time block your day to dedicate 80% of your scheduled work time to deep work and consciously restrict that shallow work, like the endless emails and admin, to just 20%. If you can make that shift, your productivity is going to absolutely skyrocket. It's all about being deeply intentional rather than just bouncing around like a pinball, reacting to whatever notification pops up next.
Okay, Section 4. The power of pausing. Finding inner peace.
So in Japanese philosophy, there's this really powerful concept called a mind like water. It basically means not constantly fighting the circumstances around you, but maintaining a calm, clear surface. Think of a perfectly still pond. It reflects the sky without any distortion, right? A calm mind allows you to see the world and your challenges with total clarity. When someone criticizes you, instead of creating these turbulent, crashing waves of anger, a mind like water simply absorbs the stone and naturally returns right back to stillness.
And then there's a concept I find incredibly fascinating, wabi-sabi. Instead of stressing over modern perfectionism and the exhausting need to present a flawless image to the world, we can actually choose to embrace the beauty of imperfection. It's like kintsugi, that beautiful Japanese art of fixing broken pottery with seams of gold. It teaches us a profound lesson, that our flaws, our past mistakes, and the simple passage of time actually make us more beautiful, resilient, and unique. Perfection is just a stressful illusion. Wabi-sabi is the quiet acceptance that brings authentic peace.
We also really need to appreciate the concept of ma. This translates roughly to the intentional empty space in our lives. Just as a beautiful piece of music is defined by the silence between the notes, recognizing ma means understanding that true creativity and peace are actually born in the pauses. It's those quiet moments you spend just sitting with a cup of coffee in the morning, totally unplugged. Empty space isn't the scary void that needs to be frantically filled with busyness, it's the literal canvas that gives our lives meaning.
And finally, Section 5. Finding peace and purpose of fulfilling life. Rather than chasing after massive, stressful, totally unmanageable overnight changes, we can rely on Kaizen, the practice of continuous, small, 1% improvements over time. This is the exact philosophy that built Toyota into a massive global success. You don't need to completely reinvent your entire life by tomorrow. Just ask yourself, how can I be just 1% better today than I was yesterday? It's so incredibly manageable, and compounded over months and years, those tiny steps create truly extraordinary transformations.
Through that patient process of Kaizen and the mastery of deep work, we eventually reach a state known as shibumi. This is where your skills have become so unbelievably refined that your excellence looks completely effortless to the outside world. It is a quiet, profound mastery. It doesn't need to show off or desperately seek validation. It's like watching a master craftsman whose work just flows so naturally, born purely from years and years of quiet, dedicated focus.
In all of this, clearing out the shallow fake work, mastering our daily focus, and cultivating a mind like water, it clears the heavy fog so we can finally discover our ikigai. Your ikigai is your deep, enduring purpose. It's that beautiful, rare sweet spot where what you truly love meets what the world actually needs, what you are highly skilled at, and what you can sustainably get paid for. When you find this intersection, waking up every single morning becomes a genuine joy rather than a heavy chore.
So I want to leave you with this final lingering thought. If your life was a video, what would the title and the thumbnail actually be? Would it be a chaotic story of a scattered mind, totally lost in a sea of shallow distraction? Or would it be a masterpiece of deep, intentional focus? Are you going to let the algorithms in this incredibly noisy world choose your focus for you? Or will you cultivate a mind like water to design your very own masterpiece? The choice and the focus is entirely yours.